In this episode, I am answering your questions that have been submitted all month through the month of December. I've got an amazing episode today. Questions came in like, does a membership have to be your only offer? How to move people from free to paid tiers? Should you wait to launch your membership if you don't have a strong or big email list? Should I include guest experts in my membership and more? I think you're really going to love it. So let's get into it. Welcome to the $1 Million Memberships Podcast, where we help female entrepreneurs like yourself start, grow, and scale multiple 6- and 7-figure online memberships with simple step-by-step strategies that actually work.
Your life is about to get so good.
Let's dive in. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the $1 Million Memberships Podcast. I am your host, Paige Vandy. If you are new here, welcome. I am so excited to have you here on this podcast. We talk all things building extremely sticky, profitable, successful online membership communities. And if you are just joining us here, we have a ton of good episodes to scroll back and catch up on. This podcast actually started as a 9-part training series. So if you go back to the first 9 episodes of this podcast, I really take you through my personal 7-step framework that I use inside of my membership, $1 Million Memberships Club, that I have used inside of my business to build my personal memberships. So if you haven't listened to that series, I definitely recommend you scroll back and catch up. They are absolutely incredible. We had such good feedback on it. And so I just continued the podcast because you guys were loving it. And I obviously love talking about this. So it's a win-win. But if you are new here, welcome. So stoked to have you. And because I am recording this the last Monday, or this is going out on the last Monday of the month, it means this is our Q&A episode. If you are not familiar, on the last Monday of every month, I do a Q&A episode where I answer all of your membership questions that you have submitted. I get some on email. I get some on Instagram. I'm just constantly screenshotting them, putting them into a folder and saving them for these episodes. So if you have membership questions, if you'd like answered, this is also a good time to tell you, make sure you go follow me on Instagram at the Membership Muse. A lot of the times I'll put on question boxes on my Instagram stories so that you can submit your questions, or you can just send me a DM, and I like to hold on to those. And sometimes I'll answer them throughout the week on my stories, but I like to really dive into them in detail on these episodes. So definitely come find me on Instagram if you have not already. Okay, let's get into the episode because we have some really good questions that were submitted throughout December. I'm excited to dive into these. I'm actually just looking through them right now. I don't think, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I haven't answered these on the podcast. So this is going to be a good episode. So let's get into the first one, which is, does a membership have to be your only offer? So instead of giving like a yes or a no, because there isn't really a yes or no answer to this, it completely depends. It depends on what your priorities are for yourself. It depends on what your mission is. It depends on what you do. Can that be packaged up into a membership and still get people really incredible results? There's so many factors here. So an example, I'll give you an example. Personally, for me, I teach people how to grow really successful multiple 6- and 7-figure online membership communities. That's what I do. So within that mission, within that goal of what I do to help people, there are multiple avenues that I could take to get people there. I could take one-on-one clients where I work with people for a more expensive rate, closer, where I'm getting on calls with them, where I have them in something like Voxer, where I am really in communication with just them one-on-one. I could do that, and I could give people that same transformation, right? I could get people multiple 6- and 7-figure memberships from doing that. I could just have a wait list and have people wait until there's a spot that opens up. Or I could take everything that I would be teaching those people anyways, and I could package it up into an online membership. I could package up all of my frameworks, all of my methodologies, all of my templates that I personally use. I could just do the work, which obviously is a lot more work up front than just taking on people one-on-one, because you're kind of working with them as you go. It's a lot more work to take something like what I do, package it up into a membership with all of the frameworks, all of the things. But that way, people are still getting the same information. It's just delivered a different way. So when you're making a decision of should you go the membership route or should you have different offers, you really need to be looking at multiple things. You need to look at, okay, well, if I go the membership route, Can I still get people the same result? With mine, yes, I can. As long as people are actually following our framework, which it's on the members coming into the membership to actually show up and follow it, but it's also on us, on me, to make sure that for them to follow it is clear, is simple to follow. Yes, takes work to actually do the stuff, but we make it as clear and as simple and as achievable as possible. You also need to look at, for what you do, is being in a community going to be beneficial? For most niches, the answer is going to be yes. For me personally, having membership founders inside of a community of other membership founders is so freaking valuable. It is actually completely priceless, because being able to be in a community of other people on the same journey as you, see what other people are doing, see the questions other people are asking, see what people are doing that's working and not working. It's just so valuable, because you then are not just relying on one person to answer questions for you. You're actually seeing an entire community of people, and you're getting answers to questions you didn't even know that you had, so you wouldn't have thought to ask. Not only that, but if you've listened to other episodes of mine, I think this is actually, or I know this is actually something I talk about in the 9-part series at the very beginning of this podcast, is the benefit of people being in a community when it comes to trying to get a specific result. So like for $1 Million Memberships Club, everyone in there is trying to grow a multiple 6 or 7 figure, or just really super freaking whatever successful looks like to them. That's what they're trying to grow for their own memberships. When you are in a community of other people, and this has actually been proven, when you are in a community of other people working towards the same goal, you are much more likely to actually see the result, because you're in that community. It's like osmosis. You are being motivated every day. You're seeing other people's wins and also struggles, and feeling like you're not alone. If you see people struggling, that can actually motivate you to keep going, because you see that other people are actually going through that same struggle that you are going through. You don't think that you're just like this unique person who is having this struggle, and maybe this is just not for you. You know what I mean? So there's so many benefits of actually being in a community. Again, if you want to hear those benefits, I believe it's like the very first episode, besides the trailer episode, that I talk about that. So definitely go listen to that, because I list all of the benefits of community versus one-on-one. And then the other thing to look at is also you. What is the kind of life you want to create? Personally, I have done it both ways, where I have booked myself absolutely solid, taking on one-on-one clients and one-on-one calls, and booking my entire calendar with one-on-one, so that I could make good money inside of my business. Was it good money? Absolutely. But did I like it? For the first few calls, and then it was just not even that I didn't like what I was doing, but I just didn't like how I was feeling, because I was so tired. It's like you can get burnt out doing the things that you love, and that's what was happening to me. I loved what I was doing. I loved my clients. I loved getting on calls with people, but like, to be on 5 calls a day, not have any time for your own stuff, not have time to have any creative time to think of your content, all of it wasn't for me. I personally like to have a really open schedule. I like to teach. And so personally, I like to be able to get on 2 calls inside of my membership every single month, where I can lead a workshop and I can sit face to face with people and answer their questions and talk to them and really have that connection point with my people. But then I also like for them to be able to use our content, use our resource hub, use our template vault, be able to get the same results, but without me having to actually be on the computer or in my Voxer to get them that result. You know what I mean? So also just look at your lifestyle. What are you wanting to work towards? So personally, it's very rare that I promote anything else. My main core offer is always going to be my membership. And that just makes it simple too. It's like, I know what my call to actions are going to be. I know what my messaging is going to be. It's easy to come up with my marketing and my content, because I'm not trying to split my focus between all of these different offers. I can go all in on making one offer extremely good, making sure that it is the absolute best it can be, making sure that it's the absolute best in its niche that it can be. And personally, that's what I would rather do. And that's not to say that you can't work with people in other ways. I have consulting clients. I have people that I get on calls with one-on-one, but I hardly ever promote it. And you probably, If you have heard it, it's very, very rare. A lot of you probably haven't even heard that I do that. And usually where those people come from are people who are already in the membership who would like to get on a call and really dive into something. So for example, we might have a member inside of $1 Million Memberships Club and they are going into a really big launch, or they're really wanting to work on expansion for a certain block of the year. That person might want to book a call with me and really just pick my brain and really just come up with a strategies for them to be able to use for the next 3 to 6 months. And it's great because I don't have to split, again, my attention marketing that other offer that I do technically have. My membership kind of works as a funnel for it. And it's something that I don't have to completely fill my schedule up. I only take a very limited number of spots every quarter because, again, I'm looking at what do I want to be doing? How do I want my schedule to look like? Personally, for me to make $1 Million Memberships Club the absolute best it can be, I need a free schedule. I'm somebody who I need time. I need time to be able to do my visionary work and my creative work. And that's how I like it. If I can really have that time to pour back into my membership, that's how I know it's the absolute best, and how the people who are inside of it who do the work are going to get that end result of building a multiple 6 and 7 figure membership. So personally, that's how I like to look at it. And I also look at, is this in the best interest for my audience? And for me, the answer is yes. So it's really a matter of looking at that for you. So I think the wrong question to ask is, does my membership have to be the only offer? And the right question to ask is, for what I do, what offer allows me to create the biggest impact and the most sustainable life while giving my audience the desired end result? Question number 2 is, how do I move people from free tiers into a paid tier? So if you have something like a free community where you that's maybe your top of the funnel, where you get people from your Instagram audience or your social media audience and you get them into your free community, and then you have a paid community on the back end of that. So your membership, the number one thing that you have to do, it's not even a non-negotiable, is you have to have scheduled in incubator events throughout the year. Incubator events, if you haven't heard of it, it's okay because it's a term I made up inside of $1 Million Memberships Club. Basically what it is this is a live sales event. It's a planned sales event. It's something where people actually have to get off of social media and sign up to come be a part of this event. There's usually a time that it's being held, a date that it's being held, and they have to physically, virtually show up to that event. So instead of just having your free community and constantly trying to tell people, hey, by the way, I have this paid community, people aren't going to move unless they have urgency to move, unless they have an actual reason to move right then and there. People will always just wait. There's always going to be a better time, and it's going to be very hard to grow your membership at a pace that I'm sure you want to grow it if you are not doing incubator events. So incubator event, this could be something like a free workshop. This could be a free masterclass. This could be a boot camp, a challenge, whatever it might be. It needs to be something that is bringing people all together off of your social media, and you are giving them the opportunity to go into your membership right then and there. So in order to get people to really, to not only budge, but in order for you to just have big sales inside of your membership consistently, you need to have these 3 things. You need to have 1, very potent visibility. If you don't have visibility, you're not going to have sales. Visibility is literally the oxygen to your membership. So that is number 1. You have to have visibility. Number 2 is you have to give people a reason to buy. What is so different about your paid membership than your free? And is that difference so crystal clear? Are you really hammering home to your audience of why they need that paid membership rather than just being in the free community? Is it very, very obvious what the reason is that they want to make that move right now? What is that result that they're going to get? And then number 3 is you have to have the urgency. So they might understand, oh, there's a huge benefit of being in the paid. That sounds amazing. This is the result I would get. So that's number 2, the reason why. But then to really piggyback on that, you now have to follow that up with urgency. And what I mean by that is they have a certain window to buy, or else cannot get in, or they have a certain window to buy at a certain rate or with a certain bonus, and then it drops off. So you have to have some kind of urgency, whether that is doors closed or whether that is a bonus dropping off or a challenge is starting and they're going to miss out, whatever it is for you, depending on if your membership is open, close, evergreen, whatever that is for you, just pick something and make sure you have it. Really quick, I want to send you my membership starter kit completely free. And I might be absolutely insane for doing this because it's normally $147 and it's packed with templates, pricing guides, setup resources to launch your membership, naming your membership, literally all of the things. I want to send it to you for free. And all I ask in return is that you leave this podcast a 5-star rating and written review on Apple iTunes. That's it. Seriously, that is it. So pause this if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, scroll down to the bottom where you see the reviews, tap the 5 stars, leave me a written review, screenshot it before you submit it, and then send that screenshot to support@paigevandy.com. I will leave it all in the show notes for you. I'll leave the instructions in there, but that is literally it. Once we verify it, we'll send you the starter kit completely for free. No strings attached, just your review. I'll leave the instructions in the show notes, so it's so easy for you to do. And then you can come back and enjoy the episode. Question number 3 is, should you wait to launch a membership until you have a strong email list? So again, a little bit of a nuanced answer here, but first things first is you need to have some sort of audience. Does it have to be an email? Not necessarily. However, I always recommend having an email list because again, that is something that is off of social media. If Instagram or TikTok went down tomorrow, you would be okay. You would still have people. Well, look at what happened to TikTok not even that long ago. So if something like that happens to one of these platforms again, you'd be okay because you have an entire list of people, of emails that you own. You can always reach your people. So yes, always building your email list is very, very important. It gets people off of social media. It gets people into your world. You're able to reach them more directly than something like Instagram or TikTok. But if you have an audience anywhere else, if you have people on Instagram or TikTok and you don't have an email list, then no, I wouldn't just hold off on starting your membership just because you don't have an email list. Now is the second best time to start one if you didn't start one 10 years ago. So do it now. And it also depends on your membership. So for example, personally, I have $1 Million Memberships Club, which is like a technically low to mid ticket membership. I've also had high ticket memberships where the monthly payment was around $2,000 a month. If you have a high ticket membership and you only have 1,000 people on your Instagram and no email list, you could still have a very, very successful business. You could have 15 people paying you $2,000 a month and make $30,000 a month. And that could be with no email list. Again, don't continue to not have an email list, but this is just saying, hypothetically, you could still have a very successful membership with a very small audience and no email list. When I made my first multiple 6 figures inside of my business, I had under 2,000 Instagram followers and like a very small email list. Now, if you don't have a high ticket membership, if you have something that's more on the low end or the mid ticket end, maybe let's just say anything between like $27 a month and I don't know, $200 a month, I still wouldn't hold out on starting your membership. I would still go for it and just know it's going to be a slower build. And that's okay. If you are okay and know that it's going to be a slower build, you're not necessarily putting all of your bills in your membership basket, thinking that you have to pay all of your bills and all of your monthly expenses and your life with this membership, I would still go for it because this is a prime opportunity to get your membership started, get people inside, get your founding members inside, and get real-time feedback on your membership. I mean, I always tell people that's like one of the biggest benefits of having a small audience. When you launch something and you have founding members in there, and let's just say maybe you get 10 founding members in there, you have a smaller audience to really be able to get that real-time feedback on. You can communicate with them more. You can really be more in touch with people to figure out what's working for your membership. What do they not love? Is there anything that maybe is disconnected between your membership and the member? So if you do launch your membership and you start with a small audience, that's okay because you can get that real-time feedback. You really have the chance to run it with your founding members inside and make it better and better and better. Plus, I do not know one single membership that launched and then something didn't change within 6 months. I mean, most memberships you're going to come up with one structure or one routine or one cadence for your membership. And then once you actually get members inside and you see how they're interacting or you see the feedback or whatever it may be, there's usually a couple tweaks that happen. So just know your membership is not going to be perfect right off the bat. I would rather get it out, get it established within your audience, and know it might be a slow burn, but know you at least got it started and you can snowball and snowball and snowball and grow it from there. Again, all of that being said, if you don't have your email list, this is such a perfect time to make sure that you're starting that right now. But no, I wouldn't necessarily make that the differentiator of if you launch your membership or not. Number 4 is, should I include guest experts in my membership? And I love this question because I actually, when I started my first membership, I thought that you needed to have guest experts. And it's not even that I really had a reason for it, besides that I just saw everyone else who had similar programs or were in the same niche as me had guest experts. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, that's just what you do. And that's not necessarily the right way to decide if you need guest experts. They're nice to have, but they're not a need to have. And it really always comes down to what the result is. I mean, here's the thing. Let's just do like a little sidebar for a second. One of the biggest problems that I see with memberships is people want to make them the most valuable that they can make them. And so they stuff everything in there. They put meditations and journal exercises and bring in guest experts and like do all, like they do the most for this membership, which makes sense. And it comes from a very pure place because you want your members to get the most out of their investment. You want them to get what they paid for and more. You want it to be the best experience. But actually, if you are just stuffing your membership full of stuff just to have stuff and just to try and make sure that your members feel like they got enough out of their investment, that can actually do the complete opposite for your member. It can actually make it harder for them to get results in your membership because there's so many distractions. And this is kind of like a gut punch too, but it's if you feel like that, if you feel like you're somebody who wants to put everything inside of your membership, I would actually really question, are you doing that so people approve of you, of your membership, of if you are good enough, if your membership is good enough? And that can kind of be a little bit of a gut punch, but it's also a very good checkpoint if you ever feel like you want to add more stuff to your membership, or if you're ever questioning what you should add or whatever it might be for your membership. Really ask yourself, is this for my member and for their actual result? Is this going to make things easier for them? Or is this actually just for me to feel better about the membership? Because here's the truth. If you have a membership and it is slim, right? So you are putting things in there that only have to do with your membership. That can feel scary because you can feel like you're not doing enough. When in reality, as long as everything is in there that is actually going to get your members results, as long as that is in there, that's what you want. You want the least amount of distractions possible. You want it to be as easy as possible for your members to actually do what they're supposed to do because they have other things going on than just your membership. I mean, you eat, sleep, breathe your membership. It's not like that for your members inside. They might be a part of many other memberships, or they might have a lot of other things going on in their own life. Yes, we want people to show up in our community and their home spot that they check in with every day. But at the same time, we have to remember people have lives, people have other things going on. So your job is just to make it as easy as possible for your members to get the result. So all that being said, if you ask yourself, should I bring guest experts into my membership? Is that going to be a distraction? Or is that actually going to deepen their transformation? Is it actually going to be something that is really going to help them get a transformation? And there's no right or wrong answer here. Some memberships do really well with guest experts, but some it's just a distraction and it's not necessary. So that is the question I will get you who asked this, and anyone else who's listening to this who might have been thinking this, that's the question I will get you to ponder. And if you are ever on the line, ever unsure, the best answer is always going to be go without. Because if you are unsure, but then you go with it and you put guest experts in there, it's going to be harder for you to remove those because the people who joined, they had guest experts in like the list of deliverables that they get with their membership, right? Like that's part of what they're paying for. So it's going to be a much bigger hassle to remove that deliverable and then modify people's payments and investments and send out notices and all of the things than it is to then just add guest experts and then have the people who had already joined get this like bonus thing that they're not even paying for because they joined before it was even a thing and they're just grandfathered into it. So always, if you're unsure, go without, add later. It is always easier to add than remove. Question number 5 is, I'm thinking of starting a membership, but I'm not sure what will be best. What membership niches are doing well right now? The first thing I'm going to say to this one is what membership niches are doing well right now is actually the wrong question to ask. The right question that you should be asking yourself is, what are you so freaking talented at? What are you so good at? What do people come to you for? If you can just think back, whether you are in business or health, or maybe you are just getting into the online space and you're completely coming into this new, what are things that you excel at? What are things that people already ask for your support with or ask for your advice on? What problem are you able to solve over and over again? What is something that maybe you've personally overcome that you have an actual framework for? You know how to get people from A to Z, or you know how to get people a specific result, or what transformation can you deliver in a repeatable way? Or where is an area of your life that you feel community needs to be around this, that this would do so well bringing people together? Because quite honestly, every membership niche can do extremely well. It's not about what niche is doing well. It's about what is the transformation that you can get people, and is that something that people actually need? Is that something that people will actually opt in for and pay for? It's not about a niche doing well or not doing well. Niches in general don't fail. Like literally, you can have $1 million membership with the craziest, most specific niche, like curling hair or learning how to draw or whatever plant care. Like literally anything can be an extremely successful membership. It's not about what the niche is, and niches don't fail. What fails is very unclear transformations. So if you're unable to articulate what is the purpose of your membership, where are people starting right now, and where are people ending? Like, what is that end result? Why would people want to be inside of that membership? What is the actual transformation that they will get? If you're unable to articulate that, that's what's going to cause your membership to fail. So if there's any area in your life or with what you do that you can clearly have a transformation, a very clear, this is where you are right now, this is where you'll be, the membership is the bridge, this is what's going to get you there. If you have something that you can do a very, very, very clear transformation with like that, you're going to do well. And if there is a need for it, then that membership will do extremely well. Obviously with the proper growth strategies and all of the other things, but like just big picture, assuming that you do get the support to grow that membership and you know how to grow your membership, that niche can do very well. And this also just kind of goes for everyone too. If you're struggling to sell your membership or struggling to get people interested in your membership, this is one of the things I would really, really encourage you to look at is, what is your transformation? What is that transition statement or that transformation statement that you have? You help people get from this certain point to this certain point, and your membership is the bridge. What is that? What is that point A, and what is that final point? Those need to be so clear, and it has to be clear that your membership is the bridge to get them there. So if you are struggling in any way to get people interested in your membership or opt into what it is that you have to do, that is the first place I would actually start, is your messaging. I hope this episode really helped you guys. I loved these questions. I thought these were pretty unique questions I don't get all of the time. So I loved these questions. If you have any follow-up questions to this episode, Spotify is like really getting ahead of the game right now, and they put a questions feature on podcasts. So you're actually able to leave comments on the podcast episodes, which I think is absolutely incredible. So if you do have questions, that's such a cool place to do it. Or again, you can come onto my Instagram, follow me at the Membership Muse, send me a DM. I'm always in there checking them. I'm always in there talking to you guys as well. So that's another good place. Again, I screenshot everything, I put it in a folder, and I pick questions for these episodes. And I also answer them throughout the week on my Instagram. So definitely come follow over there if you're not already. We also have some really exciting things coming up in January. I've decided I'm going to host another free membership training coming up in January. More details will release on that probably actually in the next podcast episode. So episode after this one, I believe, don't like hold me to that because I'm just trying to remember this off of the top of my brain right now, but I'm pretty sure next week I'm going to start giving some details on that because it's going to be coming up in January. So if you are growing your membership right now, if you have a membership and you're really wanting to expand this year, maybe that's your goal for 2026, is absolutely absolutely kick things up a notch, expand, get more members inside of your membership, and really just make that your focus for 2026. This is definitely going to be a training you want to be on. So I'm excited to give you more details on that. Other than that, that's it. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. If you haven't hit follow or subscribe to the podcast yet, make sure you do that so you don't miss new episodes. Other than that, I will see you guys next Monday for another episode. Bye.